Greetings, I'm Professor Spira and welcome to the Mucusless Diet Healing System eCourse. I would like to commend you for your desire to take your own health into your own hands. By committing to this eCourse, you are taking a huge step toward natural health and well-being. For over 100 years, the works of Professor Arnold Ehret have helped enrich and transform the lives of thousands of people. Yet, many people really don't understand his work, and his methods and message are needed today more than ever before. There is a worldwide epidemic of obesity and rampant addiction to harmful drugs. People are succumbing to illnesses that can easily be prevented or overcome with a positive change in diet. We are moving further and further away from nature. And why is it that so many people are unsuccessful with these healing diets? Well, most diets that I've come across do not have a systematic methodology. And they also do not stress and talk about transitional approaches. That's what's so great about Professor Arnold Ehret's methods and approach. Ehret's transition diet is a huge key, yet it is often overlooked or ignored. What is the Mucusless Diet Healing System? In short, it is a transitional methodology to take you from however you eat right now toward a diet that does not include a whole lot of pus and mucus forming foods. So who am I and why am I so passionate about the Mucusless Diet Healing System? Well, the Mucusless Diet totally transformed and saved my life. Growing up as a young person, I always suffered from a number of different ailments and illnesses. I had allergies, and at a young age, around 7 years old, they started giving me pharmaceutical medications for allergies. I took Celdane for a couple years, and they took that off the market. And after a couple people died, and I took Zyrtec and Claritin and all these different things, Allegra, and I just thought that was normal. I thought that it was a grown-up thing to take medicine because my mother was very sick, and a lot of folks in my family all took pharmaceutical medications. And so I kind of looked up to the adults and thought that was what was normal, to take pills all the time. My mother was very sick as far back as I can remember. She was always in and out of the hospital. There was one year where my aunt recalls where she called the emergency ambulance service almost over 200 times in 1 year. So she was in and out of the hospital constantly. So I was raised by my grandmother and my aunt most of the time when my mom was in the hospital. And I really developed a mother-son bond with my grandma. And when I was in 4th grade, she passed away. And that totally devastated me. I didn't see it coming. Nobody let me know that she was sick and she was still at home. I thought everything was fine, and she passed away. And a week after she passed away, my mother landed in the hospital with congestive heart failure and had open heart surgery. And after that, she never came home again. For the next 2 years, she was in hospital and nursing homes, and then she passed away after having both her legs amputated and some other operations. Her kidneys finally gave out when I was in 6th grade. And then I was very fortunate to have been raised by my aunt, who became my guardian and took care of me. And I was able to do all the things that I wanted to do instead of becoming some kind of bad kid. You know, a lot of there's the story that a lot of kids that have a tough childhood, sometimes they'll go and do a lot of bad things and do bad in school and that kind of stuff. But the other side of that is someone that becomes almost like an overachiever and just tries to do everything. And that was me. I was a part of a ton of different organizations, and from the Boy Scouts of America to plays in school to football to wrestling to basketball, soccer, refereed soccer, and was an umpire. You know, I just go with this long list of stuff that I used to do. And for as active as I was sick all the time. So I used to constantly go through boxes of tissues, and I would come to school because I didn't like to miss school. I had this obsession with trying to always have perfect attendance. And so I would show up to school with boxes of tissue and I'd be over there blowing my nose, kids looking at me like, what's wrong with you? Why don't you stay home? And there was a couple times I was actually sent home. I was so sick that they sent me home. They had sent me to the nurse, and the nurse would take my temperature, and I'd have a temperature, and they'd just say, look, your parents need to come pick you up. You need to go home. I just wasn't gonna let being sick all the time get in my way. It's like I said, I just thought that was no big deal. That's just how things were. There was no cure for anything. You take these pills and you just do what you need to do. So in high school, I continued to be very active, a lot of different things. At the age of 15, I became an Eagle Scout in the Boy Scouts of America, and I got a Vigil Honor in the Order of the Arrow, which is an honors organization affiliated with the Boy Scouts. As a varsity football player, and by the end of my high school, I was about 240 pounds. So I worked out all the time being a varsity athlete, but I was having all these issues. And I remember it was one football game where I had bronchitis. I was actually playing football while I had this bronchitis, which was that was one of the craziest things that I did. I just remember feeling so terrible being out there trying to play football, and it was absolutely ridiculous. And you can see here how big I was. You know, I played offensive line. I was an offensive tackle or offensive guard, depending on the years that I played. But my real love all throughout junior high, high school, and even elementary school was music. And I played trombone. I started playing trombone when I was in the 5th grade. And when it came time to decide what I wanted to do in college, I just, knowing how much I really love music, I decided that that's what I wanted to pursue. I wanted to become a professional musician. And even though there were some music teachers that said, well, don't go to school just for performance, you have to get a degree where you can fall back on something, so get a music ed degree or something like that. But I was like, no, I want to become a player. I want to really become a great player and then figure things out from there. And so I got admitted into the College and Conservatory of Music, University of Cincinnati, and I went there, and it was one of the most rigorous academic programs in any music school. I mean, it's just renowned for just academically, it's very intense. And so it really pushed me incredibly hard to develop some academic muscles that I would not have otherwise developed if I hadn't gone there. So that first year of being in school, I did take the time to go out of school and go to local jam sessions and other things like that. Local music events to play with older musicians. And that's where I met Willie Smart, aka Brother Air. And I knew him for almost a year before he told me about the Mucusless Diet Healing System. And I'll never forget, me and my friend we were all together at this jam session at Chez Nora. And it was in between sets, and they had this free food sitting over there. And so, me and my friend went and got this big plate. I got all these chicken wings and all this stuff. And Brother Air sitting across from us. And so I'm sitting here eating this stuff, and we just see this look on his face, and he's just kind of like, he's got to tell us. And so he starts telling us about the Mucusless Diet Healing System and what he's done at that time, what he had done for the past 20 years. He practiced a diet over 20 years at that point. Slowly but surely, we both started getting slower and slower as we were eating this food. I knew that this sounded like what I'd been looking for. I went and got a copy of the Mucusless Diet book, and it just changed everything. After I read that book, that it changed the way that I thought, my course of my life, everything was just totally transformed. And I started practicing the diet, and I took my time with it, and I wasn't hard on myself. I just applied the principles, and within 6 months, I lost over 100 pounds, and I noticed that I didn't need to take medications anymore. So I stopped taking the pharmaceutical medications that I'd taken since I was 7 years old. I saw it happen right before my eyes, just looking in the mirror. It was just, I was just transforming into what looked like somebody else. And that's what a lot of people said, that people that had went to high school with me or that knew me before, they thought I looked so much different. So around this time, I start spending a lot more time with Brother Air, and there's a small community of people in Cincinnati that practice the Mucusless Diet Healing System. And so I just start hanging out with other Mucusless Diet practitioners and learn as much as I could about everybody's experiences. I would just pick people's brain, that whether they were people that practiced the diet for a long period of time or people that had tried to practice the diet but failed. I talked to anybody and everybody that had anything to do with the diet, and I kind of downloaded and absorbed all this information from people's personal experiences, and I just kind of took it all in. And when I was practicing, I stayed quiet. I didn't really tell a lot of people what I was doing. I just stayed quiet, practiced the Mucusless Diet Healing System, practiced my trombone, studied, and that was my path. The next significant mark was when Brother Aaron and I started a band, and that is where Professor Spira, as you see him right now, came about.
Trombone major Michael Goki likes to take his music and his message to places most jazz musicians don't venture. In addition to music, Michael's interested in healthy living. That's why he wanted to play in the smoke-free, alcohol-free atmosphere of UC's Alley Cat Cafe.
I practice something called the Mucusless Diet Healing System by Professor Arnold Ehret, and I've been practicing that diet about 2 years, and it really changed my life. I was kind of on the other side of things, and now I'm really, focused on this thing, and this gives me an opportunity to promote, health and spread the awareness of this diet, because a lot of people don't know about this, and the information I have could be very, very beneficial to a lot of people. So any opportunity I get to expose folks to this diet is what I feel like what I'm trying to do.
Michael said some of the other members of his jazz group practiced this mucus-free diet. Michael said he lost 120 pounds on the diet. We picked Michael as the subject of our Uptown Profile, a regular feature we are starting today, about students who are doing amazing things.
So after practicing the diet for about 2 years, people started to come to me asking questions about the diet or looking for advice, and I noticed that I had a gift for explaining the Mucusless diet in a way that helped people be able to understand it a little bit better. When I first read the book, I realized that there's a number of things that would cause people to be very confused when you read that original book. And so pretty early on, I had thought about creating, even if it was just for me, I was going to create a version of the Mucusless diet that edited things and had notes in the margins that clarified some of the problematic things. And ultimately that became the annotated, revised, and edited Mucusless Diet Healing System, which if you'd asked me, 6 or 7 years ago, or told me that there was going to have the annotated version, I would have been like, what are you talking about? But there was a need for it. So ever since, I made an effort to try and educate people about the mucusless diet, share my love for it with others, help other people that are interested in it, try to approach it in a way that they will be successful with it, think long term as opposed to thinking very short term, which is what a lot of people do, the mistake a lot of people make, and to just try to create a community of people that all are interested in and see the vision and understand what Eric was doing and are willing to put the work in and to be patient and to go down this path. And the eCourse ultimately is the crowning achievement of all of that work that I've been doing for the past 15 years now at the time of me recording this. And so in this course, it has everything, all the books, the videos, links to articles, everything that you need to get started on this path is available in this eCourse. It is a privilege for me to have the opportunity to share my love and my experiences and opinions about the Mucusless Diet Healing System with you. So get ready, because we are about to embark on a monumental journey into the world of the Mucusless Diet Healing System. Peace, love, and breath.